Well, hello, and welcome back to Opinion or Opportunity. I am your host, Don Gringo, and it's good to have you back. So today we're going to have a little fun. We're going to go over a few things. I want to go over, obviously, Joe Biden. He's like the gift that keeps on dreaming for any content creator. Gotta be honest, man. That guy's got more gaffes than I can't tell you who. We're going to definitely get into Joe Biden here. Now, again, I'm an independent minded thinking person, and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to go into my Twitter feed and my Parler feed and show you some of the stuff that I get, and from the sources I get it from. I don't want anyone to ever think that I am biased one way or the other. I mean, if you're just going to say stupid stuff and stupid shit, then you just might as well get called on it, right? And that's anybody and everybody. So we're going to get into a little bit of that. I want to go over this controversy too about the cuties thing. Obviously, that's a pretty big thing. I want to get into that as well. I think it's only fair. That's a pretty hot topic, and there's a good reason why. I think that's one of those issues and topics that I've said in the past that I think that we can all come together on certain things, and I think this is one of them. You know, I don't care how you want to slice it. I think this is one of them. We're going to get into that a little bit. I want to get into Trump a little bit on his Nobel Peace Prize thing. That's kind of like a contradiction in some forms and fashions, if I can say. Also want to get into Oregon. It's been a little bit since we talked about the Portland riots and what have you. There's a lot obviously going on there. But I think there's a lot to get into. So like I've always said in the past and said in the future, I'm going to hit the alarm. This is your chance. I probably will offend you. And if I do, sorry, not really. But this is your chance. Time for you to go. All right, here we go. So I want to get into this. I'm going to show some stuff, going to go over it. So Joe Biden had, his little stump there in Michigan, and he called out and he's trying to basically do what Trump did, and he's going to try and take that economic platform away. I found the speech kind of funny because I called it earlier on my podcast. And for those of you who are watching me on YouTube now, I do have a podcast. That podcast is Opinion or Opportunity. I am on most major platforms for podcasts, so I would definitely have you reach out. I do break down these videos into the full length that you're seeing now, and I break them down in shorter clips because God knows not everyone wants to look at this ugly mug for all that time. So I admit that you probably want to get out to the podcast, listen to the podcast while you're doing your work, your housework, or whatever you want. I'm not expecting you to 100% agree with me. I do want you to reach out. You can definitely reach out to me. The best ways are on the Twitter or on the Parler. Again, that's Opinion or Opportunity. And you can also reach out to me as well via email if you have something to say. I don't mind having a conversation and putting it on the air and going over it with anybody. So that email is opinion.opportunity@gmail.com. So let's get into it. So I want to get into Joe Biden, the gas, the speeches, the things I called on. Earlier I said in my podcast, and I believe in the other video as well, that Joe Biden is no leftist. Everyone knew he wasn't a leftist. He was just assuming it to win the nomination and to move on. And I think this last stump he did out in Michigan really proved it. Now he's trying to do this pro-America, pro-this, pro-that, trying to get away from globalization, going to impose taxes, and he's claiming only on the rich. But let's face it, he's talking people who are making $400,000 plus. But if you're making money, you know how to move the money and to move the money out of the country to where you're not paying taxes. We've seen presidents in the past pull this whole thing of, oh, it's only for the rich. And the next thing you know, the rich move their money. And then, well, he's got to come up with that number, that number he's looking to get over the decade, which I think it was like 3 trillion or 10, whatever stupid number I mentioned last time it was. But it's got to come from somewhere, right? That's the bottom line. If he's really pushing for this, it's got to come from somewhere. So let's take a really look at what he's done. So he went out in there in the Trump's stumping for the president's, his presidency, and I gotta say, now he's gonna put taxes on companies who don't build stuff here, that they build them out of country and then resell them. Well, I know as a private business owner, I can tell you that you can't make stuff in this country and resell it easily. It's not cost effective. So he's going to put tax penalties on those companies, and then obviously those who are building somewhere else and shipping them in. And he's going to give tax breaks, of course, right? We're going to give tax breaks to other companies who move their stuff from offshore into country. No, it all sounds good. We've heard this pitch before. The problem is, again, when you give tax breaks to these big companies and what have you, again, that money's got to come from somewhere. I mean, let's face it. The American people are the people who get the refunds. Companies don't get refunds. So he's going to need to get his money from somewhere. So I think we need to start watching our pocketbooks. But it was pretty funny, when it came into this, he's pushing for all this stuff. And, Joe Biden and the Democrats, are the ones that after Bill Clinton, fully endorsed and fully went for NAFTA. And here we are. I pulled up the video. So understand this too. This is CNN, and I really knocked the hell out of CNN because they are like mainstream media. They throw cotton candy questions at Biden and Kamala all the time. I was actually impressed to see a question answered. So I want to play it, and then we'll go into it.
Something else he did is he renegotiated NAFTA.
He did.
He renegotiated NAFTA. Now, when you ran for president and when Barack Obama ran for president, you both said you would renegotiate NAFTA. You didn't. He did. Nancy Pelosi said that the USMCA, which President Trump signed into law, is a, quote, victory for America's workers. Does he deserve credit for that?
No, I think, remember, he wasn't the one that pushed that particular one that passed. The House amended.
NAFTA would have never been redone if it wasn't for Donald Trump. So I don't care what version of NAFTA was agreed upon by Congress. I really don't care. You didn't do it. And this is CNN, by the way. I really don't like CNN, but this is CNN actually asking him the question. But let's see if they call him out on it.
The bill. Amended the bill so he couldn't.
He signed it.
By the way, it's a big deal, though. Here's what they amended. He was giving pharma a way out, giving them a gigantic break, just like he's doing now with pharma. They're building plants overseas and getting tax breaks for it. That's what it was about with him. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do.
He renegotiated NAFTA and you didn't, is the point. I mean,
because we had a Republican Congress that wouldn't go along with us renegotiating it.
But
not the whole time, right? That's the truth. You didn't have this whole thing the whole time where no one would have renegotiated NAFTA in order to benefit the American population. I don't think any Republicans would have not jumped on that bandwagon. That would have brought more jobs back into the U.S. I mean, let's face it. When it comes to the Republicans, they're all about money and power, and if it's going to do more money and bring more power to the United States and its citizens and make them look better, I'm calling bullshit on that one. But let's finish this one up.
Doesn't he deserve some credit for that? It's better. The USMCA is better than NAFTA.
It is better than NAFTA, but look what they.
So, it's better than NAFTA. That's it. That's the whole thing. So at the end of the day, the one thing that Donald Trump does do better, and I think it's the only credit that he gets, is the economy. I mean, he's better at the economy, and he's going to be better at the economy than Joe Biden. It's just a fact of life. Let's face it. I mean, Joe Biden hasn't built anything. He's a career politician, 47 years in politics. And the guy hasn't built a goddamn thing. He's got 2 major bills underneath his name, and one of them he's running from. I mean, that's the truth of it. That's the truth. He's running from a bill that he got passed to put more minorities and African Americans away than anybody else. So sadly, you get this one wrong. So let's move on. So Joe Biden he's a gaffe machine. He's just so fun to watch and listen to. I mean,
what is he thinking about this latest jobs report? Call the leaders together in the Oval Office call the leaders together in the Oval
I mean, the guy
Office.
can't talk right.
Working people, white, black, brown, Latino. As I've said many times, I'll say again, these folks are the backbone of America.
Backbone. Backbone. You hear that? They're the backbone. This guy can't be president, man. He can't talk to the American people. Can you imagine him talking, to an overseas delegation? I mean, they're just going to shake their head. I mean, they shake their head at Trump, and I get it, but the guy can't even speak English, and it's his primary language. It's a problem. I mean, let's continue.
And after 6 months in the pandemic, we're less than halfway back to where we were, with 11.5 million Americans. I mean, I don't...
He can't get statistics right.
I don't get it. I mean...
Me neither.
I just...
I don't get you, Joe.
Anyway, it's hard to respond to something so idiotic.
Stupidity is a learned behavior that should be corrected by
excruciating pain, and sometimes death.
It's hard to say that to him because, man, the guy's got one leg in the grave anyway. When you listen to him talk and you're looking at him now, I mean, it's just, oh my God. I mean, he just keeps going. I just don't get it. I mean, maybe he needs someone's hair to sniff. You better get one of his aides out there so he can sniff some hair and grope some women. I mean, it's just incredible.
I mean, what's the problem?
You, Joe.
I mean,
you.
Nothing.
Yes, you.
Nothing.
Yes.
It's almost obsequious. I mean, anyway,
He doesn't get anything out. I mean, what the hell is he talking about there? Is this a conversation he's having in his head? I mean, and get this, this is September 5th. I mean, we're only talking like a week ago, guys. I mean, this is like, oh my God. So where's he going to be in November? And Trump claims that, he's taking drugs to make himself better, but I don't know if this is better. I mean, I know I shouldn't be laughing. He's a former vice president of the United States, and I get it. But at some point, don't you know when it's time to quit? And that's the problem here. Don't think most people really understood this. Barack Obama was really backing Kamala Harris. He really was. And, in Iowa and New Hampshire, she was coming in last after spending like $10 million plus, and she was failing. So when this came up and they saw Bernie Sanders might win, that's when, Barack Obama, when we look at the time frame, propped up Joe Biden. And guess who his running mate is? Kamala Harris. I mean, if you can't see the writing on the wall here, we got a problem. So Joe's not really running for president. He's just the avatar. He's going to be the puppet, the marionette where the strings are being pulled. But I just got to finish listening to this. I mean, this is just incredible.
I told them about the story. Am I violating social distancing here? Walking up, I guess I am.
Yes, Joe, I'm watching you
Sorry.
violating social distancing.
There's a lot of folks who thought that, well, the president's made great strides with his law and order strides here.
Did you hear that? No, the strides. Bro, he's doing better than you. He's calling out the rioters. He's now deputized and made the office up there, federal, so now that they can actually arrest and prosecute. I mean, yes, he's making strides, especially in the last week. Things are calming down. So I don't know where the hell you're coming from, Joe. Because you still haven't called out the rioters and said, hey, listen, guys, I know you want me to win and you want Trump to lose, but maybe you should stop. It's incredible.
That boy, after his convention, he really made inroads. He hasn't. Not at all.
He hasn't. Well, Joe, that's because maybe he didn't have this to win, but to lose. I think you're really one that's got to make inroads because, you're losing the minority vote. African-American vote is at least 9 points in Donald Trump's favor. And let's face it, all the polling numbers in previous elections already said that if a Republican Party gets to 20% African-American vote, you're screwed. Democrats will be screwed forever. And I think it's a good thing that's happening now is that people are finally coming to realize, I'm watching these numbers and I'm feeling more and more comfortable every day that people are finally coming to their senses and figuring out, I'm an individual. I should think like one. You know, and he's over here whispering. Who the hell cares? You're there to give a speech and you're whispering. No one's paying attention to you, Joe. It's crazy.
No, I'm not serious. I mean, it should give you a little bit of confidence. We gotta, for example, why in God's name don't we teach history in history classes? A black man invented the light bulb, not a...
That was the best gaffe. And again, not a fan of CNN, but here it is, right? CNN, no, a black man didn't invent the light bulb, but Lewis Howard Latimer made it better. Right there, September 4th, 2020. And again, I am not a fan. They are not, CNN is not, I watch them, I follow them, just because I got to see what they're saying. I mean, they've become such an tabloid thing that it's more entertaining, but to finally actually come out and be like, listen, you got to cut it out. You're lying here. Finally, I feel like CNN is starting to maybe turn this around, because I think they're starting to see if this election doesn't go again the way they want it to, there's going to be problems in the next 4 years for them when dealing with the White House. So they're actually, I think, starting to look at this going, maybe, just maybe, we need to look at this. So again, I think CNN here, they did it a little bit better. They called them out and said, no, you're wrong. Let's do this. Now, I don't think there's anyone who would contest that this guy didn't make the filament better, that Latimer didn't make it better. But making something better doesn't mean you were the first to make it. That's what inventing is. You know, it's creating something new. You invented it, right? No one, I mean, seriously, if someone makes, a better Facebook, doesn't mean they invented Facebook. I mean, let's be realistic about it. So again, I gotta go with CNN on here. I'm happy to see them back into the fight on this one. It was good. It was good to see. But Joe Biden's gaffes are just incredible here. I mean, and it's just lying. And this guy has never told anything the truth in his life. Well, let's continue.
A white guy named Edison. Okay? There's so much. Did anybody know before what recently happened? Donald Trump and Betsy DeVos, Secretary DeVos, haven't stepped up.
Haven't sexually
start talking to the congressional leaders in both parties. Invite them to the Oval Office.
I gotta play that again. Did you hear sexual? Let's try this again.
Donald Trump and Betsy DeVos, Secretary DeVos, haven't stepped up.
Haven't sexually. Whew, good thing. Because if I had to pick Miss Ross over Miss Trump, Miss Ross is out. Just saying, Joe. Maybe you were trying to make that distinction. I don't know. But woo, Joe, you got to get over yourself, bro. Hasn't anyone really just looked at this guy and just
Cállate la boca, por favor.
Shut the fuck up, Joe. Just shut up. Go back to the basement, bro. You were doing better when you were in the basement. You just got to be quiet. Let Kamala talk. She's going to be doing all the talking later anyway, so just let her talk. At least she's got something more substantive to be able to deal with. At least she's competent enough to at least form sentences. Let her talk. Let's finish this.
And start talking to the congressional leaders in both parties. Invite them to the Oval Office. The Oval Office. And stop.
Let's invite all of Congress to the Oval Office. I'm sure he has congressional leaders in his office all the time. Actually, let me rephrase that. Probably not. Nancy doesn't want to go there. Schumer doesn't want to go there. They're not winning, so they don't want to go there. I mean, in all honesty, that's the truth of it. So they're out. They're not going. So I guess it's a one-sided conversation, right, Joe? Like the one you have in your head.
Your boast about never being seemed at what you can do anything. You always talk about your ability to negotiate. But this administration seems to think it's all of a sudden going to go away, like angel dust is going to be sprayed around. Everything's going to be okay.
Maybe Trump's right. Maybe he's on drugs. This guy's out there talking angel dust. PCP. What the fuck, Joe? Just go in the back, snort a line or something. Make yourself feel better. Get focused. Get yourself an energy drink. something. I mean, you walk around and all you want to say is,
Ah, caray.
ah, caray, motherfucker. Just someone put a gag on him. Seriously.
I just don't get it. Do you
None
really
of
feel
us do, Joe.
safer under Donald Trump?
I do. Yeah.
COVID is
Yeah, I do. You want to know why? Build back up the military that you and the Barack Obama helped destroy. Yeah. Yeah. And you know those same vets you keep claiming he hates? Man, he's gotten the VA under control. More vets were dying under your watch, your and Barack Obama's watch, than any other watch. Wow. I just did a podcast. If anyone wants to listen to it, just did the podcast. Had my friend Sarge in here. Sarge has a lot of medical conditions related to the military. And he went from 6 to 8 months waiting down to 2 to 4 worst case scenario, 6 weeks, not 6 months, Joe. Not that many people are dying, Joe, under VA healthcare anymore. Whew. Man, this guy has got to go away. And this is the problem. It's not that I want to see Donald Trump elected, but boy, this is what you gave me. This is my better option, right? I mean, this is my better option. This is September Gaffes, right? This is Joe Biden doing September Gaffes. We're at 13 days in, and he's straight-faced lying about who invented the light bulb and blah, blah, blah. I mean, and the guy can't form sentences. So in 2 months, where is he going to be? I mean, I think after the election, if he doesn't win, they're probably going to stick his ass in a nursing home and just everyone needs to forget him. He's the one that had the stroke. Let's just forget about him because this is horrendous. Well, we only got 20 seconds left of this. Let's see what else stupid he has to say.
taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
The guy just can't talk. And if you look at the other gas, and this one didn't come up, he was in that Michigan speech he was giving, and he was like, "Oh, I carry this card around with me, and I have all the death toll numbers of the vets, and blah blah blah." And guess what? He then mistakenly turned around and quoted Michigan coronavirus and death rates, and not military. And this is why I'm telling you, Joe Biden's not running for president. The people who are working for him suck. These are the people who are running for the presidency, really. These are the people who are going to control the country, but yet they can't give a man a card to speak from that has accurate numbers when the man's talking. I mean, he straight up lies, right? I mean, we know that. So here's another thing. You know, this is great. We found this out a couple of weeks ago. I talked about it in the podcast, I think a couple of sessions ago, but I really got to get into this. This is just crazy. This is Joe Biden back in 87. This is the same man. He does the same shit. So we know he plagiarized earlier, and whatnot have you, but this is back in 1987. So we're not saying at the beginning of his career, but you're in the middle of your career. You should be a little polished by then. I mean, shit, by that time, Joe, you've been in politics, 20 years roughly, 70s, almost 20 years here, buddy. Trump's been in it, 3 years? And you'd think you'd be better polished, a little bit more honest with your constituents. So this is a good one.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now.
When I said in my previous podcast that the smartest people in the country don't run for politics, I must have been lying. Right? I mean, this guy's like, whew, so overquiet. This guy should be the one who invented Microsoft and everything else. I mean, the way this man talks and wants to sell you this bullshit and pander to you, like you ain't going to fact check him. And by the way, this is 1987, right? This is 1987. He did this. But let's just go. Let's just continue.
Now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Wow. Really, Joe? You think we bought that bullshit? You really think we bought that bullshit? That is amazing to think that you think we bought that bullshit. It's incredible. I have all these degrees. Starting to sound like Donald Trump. There's nothing I don't know, nothing I can't do. I'm the smartest person alive. Right? Seriously.
Week says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
Newsweek is right, and his memory had failed him back in 1987. You think this person right here, this is the guy for you. His memory started failing him in 1987, people. And he became vice president. Good job, Barack. Just got to put it out there. All right, let's move on. Got to move on. Truly got to move on. So let's get into, Nobel Peace Prize, Donald Trump. Really, I'm just astounded. How do I put this? This is kind of a tough one, right? I'll take this one from Fox News. It's just a highlighting title I really want to discuss with you here. But Trump gets a second nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize after Serbia-Kosovo deal. So here's the thing with Donald Trump and the Nobel Peace Prize. So it's kind of a contradictory thing, but in all honesty, I think Trump has probably been better when it comes to trying to stop stuff before it starts and what have you. He's very proactive president. Even when he's wrong, he's proactive. He's active. He's just, I'm going to do it and then I'll fix it type of guy. And, it maybe works for him in business. I get it. But let's face it. I mean, the guy turned around and he crossed the DMZ. I mean, no other president was willing to do it, right? I mean, truly. I mean, he did. I'm not saying it was the thing to do. I'm just saying that he did it. Yeah, I didn't see Barack Obama or Bill Clinton. No one else is making that kind of headway to try to stop something from happening. We just want to keep our military on the DMZ. We want to keep this armistice. Seriously. And then, Trump has been pulling out of the Middle East as much as possible, and doing it at a much faster rate than most presidents have. So I guess I can't see, and of course pulling out and out of Europe too, and strategically planning troops just to keep allies happy. I mean, and to keep a presence. So I'm not saying he's out there and he's a Jimmy Carter. I'm not saying that. But I want to say since Jimmy Carter, he's probably been the best we've had in a long time. So should he get a nod? Maybe. Should he win? I don't know. But there is such a thing as peace through strength, right? There is such a thing as peace through strength. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to pinpoint this one. I'm not going to sit here and say he should, but I can't say that he shouldn't either. So we got to be very clear and upfront about that and honest about that, right? So let's move on. That was pretty good. I don't know what to take. I'm excited to see how that comes out, because that's just going to be more information, more stuff to create off of. And oh my God, this is like, again, the shit that gifts that keep on giving. This is incredible, truly. So let's get into Oregon, Portland protests and what have you. So obviously, as of September 11th, a couple of days ago, a lot of polls are coming out and showing that the Oregon voters are saying that in Portland, the protests now do more harm than good. I mean, about time, right? I mean, that's just me.
Pinche pendejos everywhere.
When I say about time, this should have been weeks, dumbasses. And this is one of those things, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sitting here and it's like people want me to feel bad, but you voted these people in. You deserve everything you get, and it's bad. I mean, now the outrage in Portland is going to the fact that Portland's mayor approval rate plummets to 26%. Yeah, you're not getting reelected, bro. You're not getting reelected. I highly doubt it. If you do, I would just say let the looters and the rioters continue, because the people of Portland get what they deserve. That's just the bottom. That's just the bottom line. Seriously, if you're not willing to step up and do something, protect yourselves, protect your neighbors, protect your community, because your politicians that you elect failed to do so, the fault is yours. Truly, the fault is yours. I don't feel bad for you. I cannot feel bad for you when you fail to do something on your own, which is correct the problem. Everyone should be calling for this guy to resign. They should be forcing this guy to resign. The city council, it should all be done. But these guys aren't smart enough to do it. So I guess you're going to continue getting what you deserve. And that's not me being mean. That's just me being truthful. Because you can't help people who won't help themselves. So we got to just move on. So the other thing I really want to get into is the Netflix movie Cuties. Such backlash on this, man, and so rightfully so. And I don't care that this is like a French film. This is fucking child pornography. You know, there's a lot of people right now calling for people to get the DOJ look into this, and rightfully so. I mean, if you just put in Google Netflix Cuties controversies, I mean, they're just there. Ted Cruz, put in a thing call for an investigation. So many lawmakers have actually called for an investigation into this, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. If you don't believe it, you're wrong. You're a fucking pedophile. And if you think, because you haven't watched it, or you really haven't heard anything about it, you think I'm just being mean, they have 11-year-old and younger girls twerking, dancing in skimpiest goddamn outfits. One girl, they're grabbing their crotches, okay? I'm not lying, grabbing their crotches, and one girl actually pulls her panties out, whatever you want to call the bottoms, takes a cell phone, takes a pic, and posts it to the internet, like sort of like she's posting it to the internet. This is a movie. This is a fucking movie that people are trying to defend, like Vox. Seriously, I have Vox. Because I want to get all things outside of the conversation. This ain't art. This may be art in France, but this is not art in the United States. I'm sorry. This is like, Netflix is making so much money on pedophiles right now. It's like everyone's leaving Netflix who has any fucking common sense. And they don't care because pedophiles are coming up, signing up. Just to watch that 3-minute scene where, again, snapshot of the crotch. I mean, this is like glorifying sexuality in such a fashion. This is like one step from the pole. This is like one step from making pornographic movies. Like, really, this is like back in the 80s and 90s when you watch, Cinemax had that late night show. This is like Skinamax. This is like, whew. I mean, we're there, but with 11-year-old girls. And if you think that's okay, you're a fucking pedophile. Now, I'm sorry to swear so much, but seriously, this has got to stop. Hollywood and the people who are in Hollywood, how many controversies, sexually related controversies, do we have to have before you dumb fucks get it through your head? I mean, Chris Evans just sent a fucking dick pic on Twitter, and now people are defending him. I mean, what the fuck were you doing when you were like, let me send this dick pic, but that wasn't to the girl I wanted. That was to my Twitter feed. Really, bro? Next comes out the sex tape, right? That's what's next. We're going to see Chris Evans' ass on the sex tape because, he ain't making movies right now. So they got to make their money somewhere, right? They got to be relevant. Let me send a dick pic to Twitter, to my fans. This is Hollywood for you. And you guys make it okay. You go out there and you think this is like fucking normal. You guys are making this normal. When that old saying, there's not enough bullets in the world for stupid people, there really isn't. because you make this shit normal. I remember growing up as a kid. This shit was not normal. I remember that there was ratings for TV, this, that, and the other thing. You just weren't allowed to do stupid shit like this. It was if it wasn't legally wrong, it was morally wrong. And I don't know what happened to the morals in this country. And I'm not saying morals have anything to do with religion, because I'm not a very religious person. Spiritual maybe, but not religious. But you got to know fucking right from wrong. And you got to be able to stand up for it. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. Truly, truly disgusting. So speaking about movies, though, I will say one good thing about movies. Did actually go see a movie. And pleasantly, I'm a big movie buff, pleasantly surprised. Not a Hollywood buff. I don't care about those people's personal lives. Personally, they could all just fall into the ocean and I'd be okay. But did went out and watch Tenet with my wife. And I will tell you that it was such a good... I was pleasantly surprised after being deprived of date night with a movie and dinner and stuff with my wife. I will tell you that a guy who used to go once, twice a week to the movies, because I hate TV, I would rather watch movies all day, that I was extremely pleasantly surprised with Tenet. So you guys need to go see that. You really do. You either need to go see it, or when it comes out, you need to buy it. That was a really good movie. And this is coming from a guy who's a sci-fi buff, who's been a sci-fi buff forever. But this is not your normal storyline. It was very well done. From what I understand, and I may be wrong, but my wife was telling me it's like got the second biggest budget behind Titanic, because they didn't want all kinds of stupid CGI special effects. And I got to tell you that it was really outstanding. You didn't see that kind of stuff in this movie, and it was really outstanding, and it showed for it. So I would tell you to go out there. The cast did a great, great job, I think, for the most part. I'm not a Patterson fan, but he did really well in that particular movie. I enjoyed him. It was very, very good. All the main actors were very, very good. I cannot complain. The only reason why I bring up Patterson is because I'm a Batman fan, and I'm pretty scared of what he's going to do to my Batman character. I mean... you know, it is what it is. But he was better in this role and did it better than, say, Twilight. All right, so let's move on. I just wanted to get into that. So obviously, with me being a content creator, what have you, there's a big difference when it comes into social media and how it plays out, especially for me too. And I think people need to really take a look at this. So a lot of people have Twitter, right? And Twitter's there. And, I have CBS News, Amazon, Breitbart, Buck Sexton. Again, here's another CBS News, Daily Caller. I'm not sure what this one, Wacko. No, this must be something someone's promoting. More CBS News, CNN breaking news, CNN Politics, The Hill, NBC. When you look at all this, I do want to say that Twitter probably has a lot more to offer right now than Parler, but Parler is really up and coming. I think the difference too is I think the community in Parler is a little nicer, but it definitely is more of a social, conservative social side than Twitter. And I also think it's better for free speech, but they call them out. Like, for instance, I just obviously looking at Parler now, and here's one. Governor Gavin Newsom signs bill reducing penalties for sodomy with minors. Yay, you Californians! I mean, this is you Californians. I swear to Christ, I can't wait till the fall fucking shakes, rattles, and rolls and drops you all in the goddamn ocean. And for any Californians who are decent and good Californians, you need to get the fuck out, because these are the people you elect, and these are the things they do. This is just incredible. I mean, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a controversial bill into law Friday that will give judges greater discretion to decide whether adults who commit sodomy with minors should be placed on California's sex offender registry. So I can go fuck a 14 or 11-year-old girl in the ass, and you're telling me I might not end up on a sex offender registration list? Are you kidding me? Nancy Pelosi's relative right there, everybody. That's Nancy Pelosi's relative right there. That is just fucking incredible. That is as of today, September 13, 2020. Oh, God. I'm telling you, man, I don't feel bad for you Californians. Let that goddamn state burn. You have that one kind of crazy-ass political system in there where, Democrats are favored and they have it. Well, you know what? You get it. You get everything you fucking deserve. I swear to Christ. I think people don't understand this. You get what you deserve. Look at this nonsense. How can you make that okay? I mean, that's straight up.
Ah, caray.
That's straight up. Ah, caray. Ah, caray, motherfucker. Oh, my Lord. That's not even bullshit. I can't even press the bullshit button on this. This is the nonsense I'm talking about. Now, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. And I'm talking to you. If you hear me, you see me, whatever, I'm talking to you. That this is one of those issues. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle or in the middle you fall. This should be something we all agree to. It's not okay to fuck a child in the ass. Can't say it any other way than that. This is not okay. If you think this is okay, the problem is you. You're a fucking pedophile, closet pedophile, wannabe fucking pedophile. The problem is you. Just saying. Wow. I mean, I can't even, yeah, didn't see that in my Twitter feed, right? Washington Examiner, Gavin Newsom decides, see, all over Parler, right? Of course, the two deputies out in LA who got shot. Yeah, I saw that in my Twitter feed earlier. Someone was, laughing about it. That's the difference. Leftists and Democrats on Twitter, no problem laughing about something like that. I just can't wait until the cops don't show up for you people no more. I just can't. I'm not saying that all cops are good. I'm not even going to lie about it. I'm not even going to lie like I've never been arrested or nothing. Not even going to lie about it. But I still expect them to do their job. But for you people, I just hope that they think twice. Because you got to remember something. They don't have to respond. The Supreme Court ruled that they don't have to respond. So I think these guys better really think twice. I mean, truly, truly think twice on this. Here we go. There's another good one. This is the difference between Twitter and, well, at least the LA mayor did something decent. Los Angeles mayor calls protests near hospital treating wounded deputies abhorrent. Well, at least someone's doing something. I mean, they are his police anyway, right? He's the mayor. Well, it might be good to say this is bad. But again, big difference between Twitter. I mean, you go to Twitter, and it's nothing, right? It's nothing. I mean, I'm scrolling down in the Hill. This one's the Hill. LA 4 minutes ago, LA mayor says he would have acted sooner if Trump hadn't downplayed the virus. He's full of shit. Right? He's full of shit, but not the shooting, right? So the Hill's not reporting the shooting from 4 minutes. He's just reporting this, right? It's just fucking stupid. Let me see here. I really can't do. I mean, it's just scrolling down and there's absolutely nothing. Right? So wildfires, more wildfires, not children getting fucked in the ass, not the two deputies, right, who got shot, right? Nope. See here, 55 just signed a new executive order to lower drug prices. Most favored nation order will ensure that our country gets so Trump just signed 55 minutes ago, it looks like, an executive order to lower drug prices. my most favored nation order will ensure that our country gets the same low price Big Pharma gives to other countries. No other president did that. Right? Right? I know it's an executive order probably, but no other president did that. Right? Not Obama. Not Clinton, not Bush. This guy, right? This is the guy we all love to hate, right? And he's the only one who's coming around and doing all this stuff. I mean, really, yeah. I'd love to hate him too, but I mean, he also does some really good stuff at times. I just don't get it. When you look at the difference in feeds and what people are really talking about. I just don't care, right? To California, CBS, finally, right? After I scrolled down a whole bunch of ways 10 minutes ago. So CBS is calling it out. That's good. I mean, it's just a big thing. I really think people need to jump on the Parler. If you're on Twitter, you need to jump on the Parler because you're going to see a difference in the community. I think you're going to see a difference in what you actually get for news. And it's going to be better in a lot of aspects. I'm not going to say it's as encompassing or as wide right now, but it's just better. You know? Oh, here's another one. I got this. Oregon governor calls wildfires a wake-up call on climate change. No, lady, those western states have been burning since the day I've been born. I'm sorry. I got grays right on my chinny chin chin and my eyebrows and stuff like that. And I'm not the youngest person. I wasn't born last night. I don't even think I was born at night, but every year there's wildfires. And no, I think in this one, there was a gender reveal that, started some of these fires. And it's just, you know what, at the end of the day, this is just another season. Some seasons are worse than others. And that's just about it. I just can't give it to them. So with everything that's going on in the world today, I think we just need to really bring it back down a notch. I think we really need to sit back and you really need to talk to each other and come to terms with that we all live in one country. Yes, the regions are different, but I think the problem here is we don't have a national identity. I mean, other than I should be saying we're all Americans. What? Right? Because we don't believe in the same things. I mean, we should, right? We should have disagreements on how to get there, but we should believe in a lot of the same things. And I think that's part of the problem. I think what really comes down to at the end of the day, how do we get back to where we were? How do we bring it back, not to a beginning, but because we're getting too close to an end. And I know endings are something that are beginning of others, and I know people don't change unless there's a lot of pain involved. And I get that. Pain is the great motivator of change. But I think we need to start, I want to say, looking at how we're causing the pain, who we're causing the pain to. And, when you're going to martyr people who deserve being martyred, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. We're all not angels. I get that. Some of us less and some of us more. I just have a hard time with the way things are panning out. I get the BLM movement towards police officers, bad police officers. I get it. And yes, because of some of the stuff they've done in the past, there's been quite a lot of bit of change when it comes to policing the communities. I get it. And I'm not saying Black Lives Matter didn't start off as a good thing. I think it's been hijacked, like most major causes in life been hijacked. And I think the problem here is they let themselves get hijacked because there was money involved, right? The great evil, the great deceiver, money's involved. I think we really need to turn around and take control of our lives and come together as a community. Yeah, police need to be held accountable, sure. But you can't make police afraid to act either, because then they ain't going to show up. And if they don't show up, they're not legally obligated to show up. So then what? You're going to be mad for what? that they didn't come out and shoot someone, right? Because they didn't want to pull that trigger, or they show up and they didn't pull the trigger and someone still died because they failed to act. I mean, there's no right or wrong rhyme or reason. Again, and I have been in trouble. I have been arrested. I've done my stuff, and I'm not sitting there telling you standing back behind them. But you should in some aspects, and I still believe I should in some aspects, because there's something to be said about order. I don't think that we live in a perfect society. I don't think anyone's going to claim that we live in a perfect society. But there is something to sit there and say that there's calm and order for you to do what you need to do to get ahead, right? And I'm not saying you're out there doing dirty stuff. I mean, let's face it, there are people out there doing white-collar crimes and get away with doing their stuff. But just think about this. And I really want to leave it at this, but think about this for a second. What do you think's happening behind the scenes, right? With all this noise, right? And all this stuff of look at here, we're not coming together, we're not looking at it together, we're not doing this in an orderly fashion. What kind of dirty crap is the government doing behind our backs because our attention is focused somewhere else? Right? Nancy Pelosi didn't want to pass a stimulus bill for the people, right? Now, here's the kicker of it, right? And it's the killer of it, too. These people could have passed a partial bill or pulled out things out of the bill that they liked and passed a partial bill. Even though she didn't get her $2 or $3 trillion, they could have done something for the American people. She didn't even want to do that. At some point at the end of the day, you really need to look at who we have in leadership. And I know you want Trump to go, but what about Pelosi? She's letting people go hungry. There's people who lost their jobs and have no income. These $300 a week would have been better than nothing to maybe if they had children to feed their children or something, right? Or if they were forced to move in with relatives because they lost their job, at least help support themselves in someone else's house instead of being a burden. This is Pelosi. This isn't the first time the Democrats have pulled this, because understand this. I started this off today with the economy and Joe and what have you, but in order for the Democrats to win, and Bill Maher said it best, right, when he said that we need a recession. If there is a recession, the Democrats will get the presidency, and he hoped for it. Well, here we are. Thank you, Bill Maher. Right? Maybe it was your biggest wish that came true. But and understand that. Right? So they need this. They need your pain in order for you to do something, which is what they want you to do. So you're basically indentured to them. Do what we want or we won't fix it for you. You won't get paid. You're an indentured servant to Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats when they do this stuff. You're an indentured slave. I said the word. That's what you are. Because you're going to do what the massa wants or you don't get your goodies. People need to start thinking for themselves. I'm not saying Trump doesn't need to go. I think at some point, if they would have put up somebody worthwhile, he would have gone. I don't know if he's going to be voted out. I mean, he's not very presidential, but he wasn't elected to be presidential. He is a proactive president. He does a lot of things, and he does a lot of things wrong, but at least he takes action. It's a lot easier to damn him for what he's doing than damn him for what he's not, right? We've had a lot of presidents who just placated the population. At the end of the day, I think the American people are going to vote with their pocketbooks. I mean, let's face it. We all want to get paid. We want to take care of our families. We want to move forward. We want opportunities. And I don't want to have to be reliant on Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats who are going to pay me money. Give me my stipend. Give me my allowance. Seriously. I think there's a lot more people out there who would rather get back to work, make more money than their allowance, and not have to rely on the government and still be able to do what they choose to do, because at the end of the day, that is what you are here for, right? Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, right? Constitution behind me. That's what we're here for. You can't do it if you're under someone else's thumb. And understand this, Democrats weren't always as bad as they are today, and Republicans weren't always as good as they want to appear to be today. We did this to ourselves. We're the only ones who can fix it. You really need to put that together. You really need to think about that. November's coming. Polls are going to open up soon. We haven't even had one debate, but after the gaffes that we heard Joe Biden do, I just don't know if he can pull it off. I don't know if I want him to. Because when you elect a president, you elect a president who's the person who's going to be president. Kamala, like I said, pointed out, last in New Hampshire, last in Iowa, after spending $10 million being backed by Barack Obama. Couldn't do it. And now they're trying to hand it to her. Because we all saw it, right? We all heard it. Joe Biden's been losing his memory since 1987. He's been lying to the American people longer than that. He's just not the guy. He's just not the guy. He's too many racial gaffes, too many everything. But that's enough. Thank you so much for joining me this week. It's always good to have you. And I look forward to talking to you again. Have a good one.